Hello and welcome to another episode of A Slice of Health, the Candid Health Chat podcast, where we slice away health truth from health fiction. Join me and my friends as we challenge common health myths via chit chat, powered by several cups of coffee. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social media, and do visit us at asliceofhealth.club. Let's get to today's episode. According to the most recent publication on contraception by the World Health Organization, as of 2017, 1.6 billion women of reproductive age lived in developing regions. About half of them want to avoid a pregnancy, and of this subset of women, about 3/4 are using modern contraceptives. The proportion of women who have an unmet need for modern contraception is highest in sub-Saharan Africa. Nigeria is a country in sub-Saharan Africa. Reasons for these limited access to contraception include the fact that a lot of people live in rural areas, there are limited choices for methods, there is fear of experience, fear of side effects, as well as religious, cultural, and political opposition, as well as the barriers based on gender. Use and dependent use of emergency contraception as a routine use of contraception is not recommended, as there are safer and more reliable methods of long-acting reversible contraception. The views expressed in this episode are of the speakers exclusively and do not necessarily represent the views of the podcast, its host, and its publishers. On today's episode, we discuss these issues with Nigerian-based Dr. Onyinye, who is a medical doctor, mother, public health enthusiast, reproductive and sexual health advocate. We discuss with Linda Ajayi, who is an entrepreneur based in Lagos, as well as with Dr. Toyin Olarewaju, who is a medical practitioner based in Lagos State, who runs a wellness clinic and a weekly health-based radio program called Radio Doctor. Do enjoy the episode. Okay, so today we're going to be discussing contraception, guys. So the main topic is there a stigma attached to contraception in Nigeria, and is it difficult to obtain? What do you think? Linda, let's start with you.
Okay, so the truth is, there's a lot of stories about contraception and contraceptives.
Yes.
It's not easy for the everyday girl to walk into a pharmacy and say, I want to buy, whether it's for the emergency or for the everyday pill, contraception pills.
Okay.
Because we really disturb ourselves with what people think about us.
Okay.
Even when it has to do with our health, you're worried about what the pharmacist is going to say or what people around. I think it's worse when you walk into a pharmacy and it's your turn to talk and there are a lot of people beside you. I can't say I want to get personal too because I'm worried, even when my health is in danger. So I think, yes, there's a lot of distraction, there's a lot of talks about getting contraception here in Nigeria. So it's a problem.
So what you said is like, okay, first of all, privacy and the sort of idea of confidentiality. Like when you go in, so there's a lot of people around.
Yes.
And do you feel as though like the pharmacist is going to judge you for even asking for the...
The truth is, when you look at the person's face, the person is judged already, especially when they don't see you wearing a band, and then for some reason you're a girl.
Like a wedding band, you mean?
Yes, and then when you walk in and you're a single girl, maybe for some reason she feels you're dressed some way, she judges you immediately, and you lose your confidence about trying to get something that help your health. So it's a problem.
Okay, that's a major problem.
Yes, it is.
But what you also talked about was sort of getting the post pill as well.
Okay.
Is that the main sort of reliance that people have in contraception? Is that the main thing that they depend on for contraception? So that's the morning after pill.
Let me tell you the truth. As a young girl, the truth is I do not do the everyday pill.
Okay.
Or I think it's the same for every other girl out there.
Okay.
A few people prefer the emergency one because I wouldn't want my friend to come to my house and see a post pill on my table.
Okay.
And I'm not sure I'm going to keep to the routine of taking it every day.
So
all of us, because we are all judgy of ourselves, I would want to go in, pick it, and take it without anybody knowing, and then I keep going to where I'm going to. So that's the truth.
And so that would then be using the emergency contraception. So that's the post pill, morning after pill.
Yes.
And that's what, like, I don't know, 4 to 5 times a month?
Depending on how sexually active the person is.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
well, I actually think it's okay for a person to do the normal calendar safe period thing.
Okay.
Okay, if you're able to do that, I think it's a good way to stay out of getting pregnant because
your
contraceptive it's a no-no for some of us because of the side effects. It doesn't always feel good about it. But if you can do the safe calendar thing, it's a beautiful place.
Okay. And so that is talking about having a look at your cycle, assuming that you have a regular cycle, and then looking at your fertility window.
Okay.
But then, how effective do you think that is, Dr. Onyinye? What do you think in terms of these natural? Because to be honest, personally, I'm not really a fan of all this natural.
Check your calendar.
She likes artificial.
Yes, I do. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually a fan of long-acting reversible contraception. So it's something that I generally encourage and promote because we know what the numbers are. We know that it's safer. We know that the risk of getting pregnant is lower. But then obviously in the Nigerian setting, there is so much stigma attached to it that people then prefer to go with the natural method because nobody knows what you are doing. And it's quiet, it can be coded, and you can do your thing in peace in the corner of your house. Nobody will see you and go and, tell your family because that's how we generally behave. But what do you think about natural methods?
Well, natural methods of contraception, I would say in general, they are effective. But they're not as effective as when you use a particular contraceptive.
Yes.
Because when you do contraception, you're actually trying to prevent unwanted pregnancy.
Yes.
If you have a regular cycle, well, everything is fine. You can go ahead and date your cycle, monitor your fertility rate and all that. But bear in mind that there's also the chance of you still getting pregnant even if you do everything. So we're talking about efficiency rate of less than 90%. Whereas when you use maybe a barrier method, you take a pill or use an implant, you have it as high as 99%. So I would definitely advise women that it's all good to do the natural method. It's good to know your cycle and all that. You're equipped with all that information, but also try to use another extra method. Always have an emergency pill. When you know that you've done something within your fertility window, you just take it. And then when it's safe, then you don't need to take it. So you can actually combine both, to get the effectiveness that you actually want. I totally agree with her when it comes to assessing contraception. I believe it's quite difficult for the average girl to walk into a pharmacy. You are judged. Even as a doctor, I've gone to get condoms before, and then the pharmacist kept on making snide comments and they had this funny smile.
Thank you. It's the funny smile that it's a no-no.
Yeah.
You can't boldly go in somewhere and say, "Can I get a condom?" They start assessing your body.
The condom is next to most of the disposables and very close to the pharmacies. It's difficult for you to do it codedly.
Is there any way to get condom outside the pharmacy? So if I went to supermarket,
you go to a talk shop, you can get.
I go to a supermarket. I think it's worse. There are a lot of people there that they start
families.
They automatically look for family planning today. Let me explain.
The truth is, the people judge you without even knowing if it's yours, if you're getting for somebody, if it's for a health reason.
But even if it's yours, what doesn't matter? Like everybody's actually.
That's what I'm saying. All of us are judgy about each other.
No, but it's true though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. We are all having.
Well, are you okay? I mean, Dr. Toyin is saying that he's not currently sexually active.
Yes.
And that's slightly difficult to believe.
Which it is.
Don't get me wrong. Like everybody has a right to make sex.
So now you're judging.
Exactly. That is what's happening.
No, what I'm saying is he's saying that he's not sexually active.
I didn't say that gesticulated.
You gesticulated that you are not having sex. However, and that is fine. Like that is a personal choice.
True.
However, what I think the problem is in Nigeria is that we make this blanket assumption that if you are not married, you should not be having sex. And I feel as though if you are 18 and above and the other person is a consenting adult, whatever both of you are doing is between both of you. So there's no need for us to then create this falsehood or this person is not doing it. For me personally, I assume that everybody is having sex unless you are telling me that you are
we're trying to be careful about
it. And so my thing is, let's engage in safe sexual practices. Because what happens when we don't engage in safe sexual practices is that the rate of STIs increases, the rate of unwanted pregnancy increases, abortion is illegal in Nigeria, and then the rate of unsafe abortion then increases. and then the risk of maternal mortality then increases as well.
So it's a vicious cycle.
It's a vicious cycle, and so I think the main issue for me is where we have this whole holier than thou attitude of you're having sex and you shouldn't be having sex, and that's where the problem comes in. Linda, I'm just going to come back to you in terms of, so you said that that you don't want young ladies don't want people coming to see morning attack pill in their house.
Yes.
But what about other colleagues of yours or friends that are single, maybe not in the medical, because I know you're quite well linked to medical professionals.
Okay.
But what people who don't really know, what do they do for contraception? Other than possible, do you know anybody else that is actually using a proper contraceptive?
The truth is, I do not know, because all of us, we prefer this emergency thing because, like I said, I do not want somebody coming and seeing a post pill on my table. Number two, I do not want somebody being judgy about what I do in my closet. Number three,
I know most of the time.
I know being careful about getting pregnant, we associate it with married people. So when you say an implant, like she said, it sounds like you're making me feel old, or you're making me feel like I want to put something in my body when I'm a single girl. Yeah, you remember single. When you said it, I said, no, I'm a single girl, I can't do implants. Okay. Do you understand? So that's the way every other young girl outside feel. Really? You cannot go in and say a young girl come to you and come to doctor and say, I want to do a family planning. Excuse me.
Yeah.
I don't even think most Nigerian doctors will recommend an implant and for their patient. I don't think so. That is not married.
But the truth is, if doctors recommend it for their patients, that patient must have been married.
So we're talking about this.
It's difficult to see.
It's not just within the layman, even in the medical profession. You can walk up to a doctor and the doctor will start preaching to you like you shouldn't be having sex.
Exactly, which is none of his business.
Yeah.
You know. I see. So these issues are deeper ingrained into the medical.
So the young girl outside prefers go there, get this emergency thing, pop it, and then go to where she's going to. She doesn't need that advice from you to tell her not to have sex when she has something she wants to do in her life. And then she does not need that scrutiny about how many times do you have sex a week, why do you want an implant. So nobody wants that.
So if I was to go, so now as unmarried as I am, if I was to go to a doctor and say, okay, I want a Mirena coil because I want, or a copper coil because I don't want to get pregnant and I'm sexually active, I have a boyfriend.
He will butcher you.
Most doctors will advise you against it in Nigeria. Telling the truth.
They will advise you against it.
Yeah, they'll tell you to rather go for
natural method or abstain,
or they
will convince you that you might have side effects that will prevent you from being fertile in the future.
So there's no evidence for that.
Well, the thing is that the contraceptives, some of them are hormonal, so there's still going to be that period afterwards where there might be some subfertility.
Very short period.
Yeah, it's usually short, but some doctors will just use that as a way to get out. Like, the best thing they do is to send you to the family planning clinic, which is usually manned by the matrons and the nurses. Now bear in mind that these ladies are mothers, they're elderly.
And you cannot face them. She'll ask you, where is your husband? Why do you want to do this? You say, because I'm a young girl, I'm sexually active. They will pour fire and brimstone on you.
And then religious issues in the background and all that. And then the fact that, it's still an underdeveloped developing country rather, so there's still a lot of myths, there's a lot of there's just a lot around
what kind of myths? So obviously, like the first one that you mentioned was that a lot of the contraceptives are hormonal and there can be a delay in getting pregnant, but evidence shows that the only one that actually has that delay in getting pregnant is the depot, so that's the injection and that normally has a period of about a year afterwards. For all of them, your fertility actually goes back to baseline.
Yes, it does.
So what other myths are there surrounding?
Well, there's the other side effects like weight gain.
A lot of people also a myth
in this part of the world are like, I don't want down weight loss programs and all that. So you come to the clinic and then you tell you add weight, you're already on the big side.
So the myths are not giving you false information.
Yeah, like the people that man the family planning clinic. Because when you walk up to a doctor will just advise you on what they think is good for you. You still have to go back to the family planning clinic, which can be manned by nurses, the CHUs, and other health workers. Doctors are not really the one who
are in control
of that clinic. So at the end of the day, the person who you had advised, let's say you're even a doctor who advised her that go for this, it's good for you, you have the perfect BMI, you don't have, because each contraception actually has a particular kind of people that is safer for. For instance, an older woman with probably heart issues will not be a first candidate for
combined contraceptive.
So you give them other options. So if you say young girl and you're like, oh, you're young, you're fit, you're not overweight, so go for this. And they get to that clinic and then they're told something else that, you're trying to get married in a year, right? When you try to get pregnant, why don't you just try another method, just date or something.
Or so abstain. The mothers will always tell you abstain.
They're a Christian and all that. And then you walk out of that clinic ashamed
and you still go and have sex. And now you're stuck between how do I prevent myself from getting pregnant? So people go and do the emergency thing or mistakenly get pregnant, which is not part of their plan.
Which is not part of the plan.
Yes. So,
abstinence is fair enough. So abstinence has a 100% foolproof rate. So
but people can really abstain.
But the thing is, exactly.
But the thing is, people are not abstaining.
Because the thing I realize now is, even in the generations of our mothers and our grandmothers, people were not abstaining.
Yes,
so
they
were
not
abstaining then.
Some had 10 kids.
Yes, some were getting, they already did, they were pregnant.
Most. They had ways of also like traditional
ways of doing it as well. Because on one of our episodes, the last episode, we were talking about vaginal douching and how like back in the day people would flushing out their vagina.
They pour a lot of stuff,
alcoholic things, yogurt, all Coca-Cola, all sorts of things.
Lime, lemon.
To try to avoid getting pregnant, and that was their form of contraceptive back then. So obviously, abstinence has shown. We've seen with time that abstinence is not.
I think that's never in the picture.
Yeah, abstinence is the myth.
Assuming that
abstinence
is actually a myth because even young children, engaging in sex.
Girls are from 15 are practicing sex already.
Less than the age of now. I think the age is even less than that.
We need them to know about how to get safe, how to go to a pharmacy, walk up there boldly, and be able to get something that would help your health without being ashamed of being judged or being scared that somebody will go tell your mom. And I think mothers can actually also talk to their daughters.
I'm feeling left out. You're not talking about the guy. You're saying girls. How can a guy, use contraceptive? Let's talk about that. What are the contraceptive?
Male contraception.
Withdrawal.
Okay, which one again do you
Good. That's so much I
Condom.
know. Okay, yes, condom. But how many guys have? The truth is,
a lot of men.
Men say I want to bro.
Say that they don't want condoms. That's true, and a lot of people say that it reduces sensitivity and sensation.
And they leave the body for the girl.
Enjoyment.
They use the wrong sizes, so they end up saying, they are using a bigger size than them, when actually that is not. So that's
my god, I'm dead.
That's true. That's ego as well.
They have the lower side and then they will blame it on the condoms.
So and also another Dr. Toyin, why you laughing? You said we needed to talk more about the men.
There's a male pill. I think that's one of the new breakthroughs.
Yeah, I heard. Is it a pill? I thought it was an injection. It would be injected at the penis.
And it's
why should you inject the penis?
It's in the news. It would be actually nice if we share this contraceptive thing.
Yes, because actually it's the men that impregnate you. The men, one man can impregnate like hundreds, if not thousands of
one day.
So I think if we can even change our direction and face the men, I think then we might, hit our targets in reducing unwanted pregnancy. It's not about feminism.
And the contraception currently is very sexy.
We're talking about how exactly to curtail one unwanted pregnancy and then maternal mortality, teenage abortion, septic abortion. I think the men should have a role. We can't keep focusing on women all the time.
We'll sign the consent form when you guys want to get contraception.
Because most men will say, the male contraception that is available now is vasectomies and all that. Many men don't want that.
African men do, and I was actually going to talk about that. Dr. Toyin, why don't you tell us, as a male doctor and as a man as well, why is there such a low uptake of vasectomies among Nigerian men?
It's one word, irreversible.
It is. But if you've already married a woman, let's say you're already in a long-term commitment, you've had 4 children, what is the problem with you having an irreversible procedure to prevent you getting more children?
Because of Nigeria, we have like some emergencies that could just happen and all of them can go. Like the Sosoliso L crash.
Okay.
You know, so everybody wants to be sure that you can do something.
So if all your children die, so we are. I mean, it's not funny to be honest.
Yeah, but
it's a concerning issue because it's based in fear as well.
But that doesn't make sense. If a man is saying, I still want to populate, we're already in a point where we have an overpopulation.
Countries.
Yes,
so why do you want to?
But what I would tell that man is that they can even get some of it from the testis itself. And use it.
And then do an IVF.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do an ICSI, you can do an IVF. There's fertility treatments that can be done. Even though. But so are you saying that their main fear is the fact that if they lose all their children on one day, they will then want to have more children in the future?
I just want to play safe. And then I think we've not done a lot of awareness too in Nigeria.
Yes.
Yeah. I received the call recently from someone in America and told me that, look, this guy is just giving birth to children. And this. Me, I'm so rich in America and I've done a vasectomy. When he said that, I went to faint. Why? Because I mean, I never thought about it, but the guy is like my friend, and is someone I really owed up there. So when he said that, I thought about it that maybe when I finish having all my children,
it's so important.
I might do a vasectomy, but because of what he's done and what he is to me. So I think if we're able to increase the awareness in Nigeria about vasectomy, people know that it's safe. There are other options if you do it to get the child if you still want, and that it's actually better for your wife.
Yes, it is.
If you do that.
It is. And personally, like honestly, it's a conversation that I think a lot of young women should have as well. With people that are going to get married to. Okay, so, if we want to have children inside or outside of marriage, we want to be in this committed relationship together. Once we've decided on the number of children we're having, what are we going to do to prevent getting pregnant in the future?
Question always falls to the woman. See, have you seen families?
I'll tell you why. Because I know someone a man who was like, oh yeah, the vasectomy, and he was the one that even said it like straight up, no, I'll definitely like have a snake.
Okay, so that's a good one.
And so I think there's a few.
Yeah. Let me give you examples of what happened in family in African homes. So when a married couple, they have like 4 kids and they feel like they're okay. In Nigeria, when you're married to your husband or to your wife, you're not alone in that marriage.
Yeah,
extended family members are in.
Okay.
So now let's say you have 4 kids and the last baby is about 3-4 and you guys feel like, oh, we're done. Now, so because the both of you are still very sexually active, she gets pregnant. Do you know who they blame?
They blame the woman, of course.
Why did you get pregnant?
Why you guys just
How did you allow it to happen?
Yeah.
But it was the 2 of us. I didn't get myself pregnant.
I did not.
Do you understand? Families blame the woman. It's your fault she's pregnant.
She's been handling it well before, and then all of a sudden
she had a sleep. But why would we not say, oh, how did you guys get pregnant?
But
do you understand? It should actually be it's not a blaming thing. It should be, what do we do? It's the both of us.
In the event that we're still in the point where the African man is still very egocentric.
Yes.
And you want to tell him to go do that and not procreate.
Yeah. So I think women should take charge of our health, because it affects us directly when you have
and there's no awareness about this.
When you're not supposed to have a baby.
A lot of people don't know about it.
When you have a baby,
man can actually still contribute to us not having kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
I just made for the first time.
Yes, that's the truth. I'm hearing for the first time.
Really? That is interesting.
I'm just hearing for the first time.
Wow.
Aside from the one that it's in the news that there's a new pill coming and all of that.
Yeah.
What you guys are saying, I can't even pronounce it.
Vasectomy.
I've not heard it before.
Wow.
Nobody's talking about it. So even if my wife is done having kids, the man can go out and still enjoy himself and still have people that want to get pregnant, and he feels like it's a score for him.
Yes.
For the man, for the African man, especially if you can afford, he feels like it's a score for him, and you want to tell him to. He will remind you, did my father do that? Do you know how many kids my father has?
He might even feel like to prevent his penis from not working.
Or even make the children he has in the house to not be children again. That's the truth. So it's actually for doctors to do a lot of awareness on this. We don't know about it. That's the truth.
But this actually brings me to a point, because you were talking about how a lot of Nigerian men have ego, and their egos are
ego.
Yeah, just on a
level. Even those that have done it might be so ashamed to tell their friends about
it.
So because
talk about it.
Yeah.
So
and then there is also the issue, the gender issues where the woman wants to access contraception and then the man is like, no, you shouldn't. There are also religious issues like the Catholic Church. They don't believe in accessing family planning and contraception.
Are you
because
serious?
Yeah, because there is a belief that God gives, you.
Yeah, so there are a lot of religious barriers as well.
And when you're part of when you're
some husbands will tell you not to
Yes.
get contraception. So, and then there's some, there's some hospitals that also tell you to come with your partner. They want it to be something that you do together, forgetting that at the end of the day, it's the woman that suffers everything.
Yes. So
when
wanting the consent of a man before giving a woman contraception.
So those are the barriers.
That's why I mentioned that earlier, because a lot of women come meet me to tell me that their husband is about to be here, or don't tell my husband. I'm like, it's your body.
Yes.
It's your body. Your husband, husband. Yeah. So this part of the world, the man is very powerful.
Yes.
Everything. In fact, they call the man the crown of my head.
Yes.
They give him big names.
Yes.
So almost everything they do is the man that is actually doing it.
Yeah.
So I think we should tell them that look, it's the woman, it's your body, and you can sign a consent form to get anything you want to do on your own body to protect yourself and protect the future of our continent.
Wow. That's very interesting. And I suppose that brings me to also, in terms of men, if we look at the political situation in Nigeria, men, who some of them have multiple wives.
Top CEOs,
men, CEOs, men, hospitals, men. Do they care about, is maternal mortality an issue for them? Do they actually, is it something that they care? Because I feel as though like, if it was something that they were passionate about, then they will look into how can we best address these issues.
We're not there yet.
And it appears that
we're not there yet, because they still call for gender equality, health rights for women and all that. We're not there yet.
What's the budget for health?
That's
in
the issue as well.
in our national budget?
Yeah,
how much is it put there?
Yeah.
They would say we've not even eaten, but they don't. There's no money for health, even education, because it all starts with health education.
Educating
the female child. Yes.
Yeah.
We don't put enough money for education, not enough money for health. And all the money goes to the senators, and this balance. And it's difficult. This non-balance or imbalance. So it's difficult for them.
So
but what I think is that if contraception and unwanted pregnancy, if it fell on the men, assuming we're still in this
state.
Yes. Let's say it had to do with the men are the ones carrying the baby.
Yeah.
By now there will be laws everywhere. I'm sure abortion will even be legal. Because men don't want anything that will hinder whatever they're doing, But because it's a woman's issue, so it's just like put aside, and these are still one of the issues.
And what we're talking about is actually really interesting, because I don't know if any one of you has heard about the Ohio state law in America that they recently did last week. And I think the thing is, what you're saying about men, I think is an international thing. I don't even think it's just like an African thing.
But we feel like it's worse off here.
It's definitely worse off here. But the US, so they did this law. So they just passed a law in Ohio state. And let me just say it correctly so that I'm not saying the wrong thing. So the Ohio bill orders doctors to reimplant ectopic pregnancies, or face abortion murder charges.
Yeah, because each state.
Yeah, and these are men. And so these are men coming up with these laws. And if you
where will they put inside the uterus?
Yeah, so they want to they said that the doctors must reimplant ectopic pregnancies, because it is a state where abortion is not accessible in America. Obviously, in the United Kingdom,
every state has its sovereign
in the United Kingdom, abortion is legal, so you can access abortion very easily in England, and England has one of the highest rates of abortion worldwide, because it's so easily accessible and it's absolutely legal. In America, obviously, it's different because it's per state, so per state. And so this Ohio bill came up and they suggested that
Did it pass?
Does not exist. This procedure does not.
So they just imagined it.
So they got it up and they were like, you know what? Let us do this.
Anyway,
make life more difficult.
They should just put it in test tube and just call it test tube babies. Well, because instead of stressing the woman further, ectopic pregnancy is already.
So after cutting her open,
her life
you reinsert it, and then she carries a pregnancy with an open wound.
No, it will heal.
I know it will heal, but the first few days she's in a lot of pain.
That's what I'm saying. She's already going through
What's
one
the
surgical.
viability? What's the viability? What's the how long will she even hold that baby?
I don't know.
You know, she might have a miscarriage later.
The idea is even ridiculous because the thing that we're even understanding is an ectopic pregnancy is a pregnancy that's already implanted in the wrong place.
place.
So we're even saying that let us take an egg that has been fertilized because it's slightly different. If you take an egg that has been fertilized, that hasn't even.
That's what I'm saying. Do they have a
And
new
there's
technology?
There's new technology because this thing is existing. It's happening on a cellular level.
They're making me laugh.
So how are you going to? So so these are the things that I think women really need to start changing the conversation.
And men that love women like me.
Do you love women?
I want to change this conversation
You do,
together.
you love women.
So you believe in
You
contraception?
believe in contraception.
You believe every girl, every woman should have access to contraception?
Wow.
But
Why
she's
do
a
you
very
think-
open-minded person.
Why do you think? Look,
Yes.
Why? But potentially, actually, it might be
I do
an
believe,
issue
but-
to discuss vasectomies on your radio show.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think the next show we should do contraception.
And then condoms, and then other ways.
We should do vasectomy.
You know, the role of men.
Because I can tell you in Lagos
We'll do
alone,
that.
90% don't know
They will-
about this.
They will call and
They
say,
will call
doctor,
and
you're an
want
evil
to know.
doctor.
And those that know,
They will
those
say, "I'm
that
evil."
know, they have these myths that they are cutting off your penis, they're going to
Or
be
your
infertile.
balls, you don't have balls, and your friends will
and
make
you know
jokes
men,
out
they don't
of
want
you.
you to joke with that area. It's so sensitive
Men
to
are
us.
so sensitive about.
And we're not supposed to be sensitive about what we want for our body.
our bodies, and it really is an issue.
Yeah,
But what
everywhere.
about access to abortion? So obviously abortion
Oh.
is illegal in Nigeria.
Yeah, they
But
are restricted
This
laws.
is another topic. You can't finish it.
We can't finish it, but it's
Abortion.
just a taste that
Yeah,
just so
because
that
it's an
people
antecedent
understand. Yeah, exactly, to contraception, and especially in the Nigerian setting, because our listeners are all over the world, and so some of our UK listeners will be wondering, well, why is this actually an issue? Well, abortion in Nigeria is actually legal.
Yeah,
There's
so-
a lot of restrictive
So
laws.
it's
to
crazy
obtain
because
abortion.
even if a girl comes to you
Mm.
and then she has had sex and she couldn't access contraceptive for whatever reason, maybe she couldn't talk to her mother, she couldn't talk to her school nurse,
Yeah.
she was scared to walk up to the pharmacy because it's owned by somebody she knows. There's so many barriers, and she didn't get that contraceptive, or she didn't even know her fertility window, and then she walks into your clinic and then she confides in you. At the end of the day, because of these laws, even you as a medical practitioner, you're restricted in how much care you can give her. The best you can give her at that point in time, because of the laws, is to advise her to keep the pregnancy, which is the first thing we have to do.
Wow.
And it's something that should be her choice, especially if she's the age of consent.
Yes.
It should be her choice, but at the end of the day, because of the laws, it restricts us to be able to, one, offer her safe abortion, to be able to offer. So the best we can do, I'm just saying personally, and I think generally too, doctors, is to advise her that there is nothing we can do at this point in time. You have to try and keep that pregnancy, hard as it may be. Give her options,
That's
maybe
a heartbreaking
adoption
decision.
and all that. And then you can also ask her if she has tried to abort terminate it. A lot of times, a lot of girls will have already gone to the counter and bought some pills.
Yeah.
So the best you
Or
can do is to the best you can do is to just try to direct her to use the right dose at the right time, and then tell her to come back.
Add on to it that it follows up.
Yeah.
After they can't get contraceptive the right way, they actually try to get it their own way.
The wrong way.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then as a doctor, you're in between. You're like, what can I do? Should I send them to
But this is not-
because there are
this is not-
hospitals.
This
There
is not contraceptive though. This is
it's abortion. So in Nigeria,
The contraception has
So-
failed.
Yeah,
It wasn't
the
available.
truth is, we know that there are places where
abortion.
yes,
being
and
done.
you might
Yeah.
know a good
Because
doctor.
over
that can do it.
450,000 abortions happen
Happen
yearly
yeah.
in
Yeah.
Nigeria.
So as a doctor, I'm like, okay, should I just send this person to someone that I think will
450,000.
do
That's a
it
big
well
number.
for her, or should I leave her to go do it our own way?
Because
So it's always a
very
dilemma for
tricky-
me,
It's
yeah.
a very tricky situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because I just and obviously a lot of times abortion fails. Medical abortion can sometimes
Yeah.
fail, and then
Yeah.
you then need a DNC.
Fiancé,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or you might even need more complicated surgery as well. And so, is there a situation of making abortion legal in Nigeria?
And Nigeria is very religious.
And the religious
Religious laws.
and
In the next
religious
50, 100 years, it's not
just-
going to happen.
It's just so complicated.
I doubt it's going to happen. I doubt we're going to. The best we can do is to just offer, encourage contraception, really try and instill it, because even those
Prevention is
laws
better than
that
cure.
prevent abortion also restrict contraception from being available and accessible. So when that already happens and she's pregnant, the best you can do is just to try and redirect her, you know, and advise her to come for follow-up care, because eventually this person will likely, maybe 50 to 70% of the time, have the abortion some way. So you have to advise her to come for follow-up, so you're sure one, she has not had infection afterwards, there are no retained products, then you can now help her. So at the end of the day, we are bent, we're you know, saddled with saddled with caring for having post-abortal care, which is not even in place. So this is you as a doctor going the extra mile for that particular patient, following up and all that. So it's really a sad situation, and safe abortion is very common, is very popular because of these laws.
It's increasing our maternal mortality rate. It's increasing. Yeah,
because some safe abortion adds to 15%.
Yes, I was shocked when I saw it in Africa.
15% of maternal mortality. So it's really high, and this is from sepsis. And then,
because you don't know the doctor that is doing the procedure,
unsterilized,
you know, they're not. It's not.
Most of the time, it's not a doctor.
It's not a doctor. So it's a quack. You're going to a quack.
He's been assisting doctors, and he thinks he has experience. So
exactly. Someone that has assisted a doctor before that thinks.
And then he thinks he has experience, and then he goes there and he's confused.
It really is.
Oh my God.
It really is an issue. So what do you think is the way forward? So we've talked about education, so making people aware of what's going on.
Now start with my radio show. Making
women aware of their options for contraceptives. That's the first thing. So making women aware, making men aware, removing the stigma attached to it,
and removing it early. So I think the
ability for young girls to be able to access these things without fear or somebody judging them, without caring what somebody's saying behind you, and just focusing on your health. I think that's number one step.
If it's a 12-year-old girl who lives with her mother who has had sex, you know,
I think it's also scared. For mothers. It's for mothers to be able to talk to our daughters. See, when we start on time to talk to our daughters about sex education, I know that you're not supposed to do this, but if you've started this, there are ways for you to be safe, for you to survive it, for you to not get pregnant, and your future is all of that. If your daughter has that courage that, I've already done this, what do I do? If she can talk to her mom, that way we've curbed out the plan of her getting pregnant, because the mom will take care of that. But if she cannot, she having the bonus to, I can do this because my mom knows I'm sexually active. So without fear that the neighbor is going to tell my mom, and my mom will, you know, mothers, they can escalate things, call the whole family members, the Ogada, my God, that is another level.
Are not really I don't know, change is really difficult. It's so difficult to change an older man who is a deacon and to explain to him that I think you should, allow your girl to express themselves and all that. I think we health workers have a major role to play.
I think so. Doctor level have sent you.
You have a major role to play. We also contribute to the stigma. So I think we should also come in, we should be the barrier, we should bridge that gap. The government has a lot to do. Laws, policies.
Medical practitioners have a lot to do.
I think they should.
Whatever your opinion is when a young girl walks to your office, keep it to yourself. Bury it deep down. Let it not even come in your expression. Because most times when I walk in, I'm looking at my doctor's face. So when I tell him something, I'm looking at how he reacts. So the way he moves his body, the way his face changes, automatically
we are trained not to be judgmental.
But you people are not. That's the truth. You meet a young girl. You see, when I go to hospitals, I do not want to meet a young girl that is a doctor. Do you know why?
Why?
She judges you from the moment you come in. She asks you, how often do you have sex? Sexually active. The posture of her mouth is so different that you tell yourself, I'm a low life, or I'm not doing well for myself, or I've done wrong, and it's written all over her. She's a doctor, she's well off, and I'm somebody that is having active sex, and you think she's not having sex, and so she looks at you like you're messing, and she looks at you like you're messing up, and so you feel like, no, I can't come back here. And so even if for some reason you still have some other things you need to tell her, you won't tell her because her countenance has changed it all.
Listening to you talking about that, actually, I find that very interesting, because I always feel as though as a young female doctor,
Most girls want
I
to come
should
to
be,
you.
most people should want to come to me
Well,
because I'm more understanding.
But it still
than
depends on the
older
person.
Yeah, the
man.
person.
It's still personal.
When I go to the hospitals, I look out for the older doctors, the older male doctors. I cannot meet a young doctor because he looks at you and he's imagining you having sex and all of that, and all over his face. I'm telling you what I feel when I meet them. That's the truth.
Wow.
It's not once.
But that's an
Interesting.
issue. But that is an issue, isn't it? 'Cause
And if I
Maybe
meet
you
the
should
female,
change hospitals though.
I do not even have. If you meet the female, you not meet the female doctor.
That's even worse.
It's worse. So you're like,
Wow,
so what am I
that's
doing
strange.
here?
that is very strange. That's
So
the
you
first
look out
time
for
I'm hearing that.
older
Yeah, because
metrons.
most times they
When I go to the
reserve
hospital, it's
female
metrons I look out for, and it's
for-
them I tell my
You
problem.
know, to
And
be honest,
I feel
personally,
safer.
I always just felt that as a young doctor in this, so someone that's trained in the 21st century, I feel as though I'm not really shocked by things people tell me anymore. I feel as though the older generation are probably more surprised by things, and so
the older generation are more considerate. When I meet an older doctor, I know because the doctors I let touch me are older doctors.
Okay.
So when you talk to them, aside from the advice about your health, they are so calm.
They're fatherly kind
Thank
of.
you very much. But you meet a young doctor, male or female, the person butchers you with his look.
I see.
And if there are some other things I should say, I wouldn't say. I would leave and I won't come back. That's the truth.
Okay.
So you
That's
guys
the
really
point.
have a
That
lot
is
of
very
work to
interesting.
do.
That's
Yeah.
a very interesting perspective, and I suppose that is the perspective that we should really know as doctors, isn't it? That if people are
I
feeling
mean, the
that way,
Hippocratic Oath doesn't let you like judge people. When
no,
people come
yeah,
to you,
yeah,
we're
yeah.
trained not to be judgmental, but
yeah.
then their personal
I
characteristics
would just like
and all
to
that.
say to that it's a personality thing.
Yeah.
I think he meant you're a young doctor, like I know Dr. Amade.
Mhm.
I know a lot of people want to see
Yeah.
her,
Mhm.
especially female.
Mhm.
They want to see her.
Yeah.
I know you from radio, just the last show we did.
Mhm.
A lot of ladies called me, like 2 of them called me that they want to talk to you, they want to come and meet you.
Okay.
You know, I think I spoke to you about it.
Mhm.
So, there are ladies that are more, approachable than others.
Okay.
You know, and then there are some young guys too that might not be like the guy you saw. So I think it's personality. You know, there are some older men that if you come into their office, they'll preach to you.
That's that, and that's
Their
that's
Bible
the-
will
A lot of them will
And
preach to you.
pastors.
And
Yes.
that's the perception that I have actually got.
Yeah.
That I feel as though a lot of older
Yes.
doctors are not as pro contraception,
Not as
No,
listening
not as
to.
not as listening to.
In fact, when
And
they are
I
doing, if
feel
they are
a lot
doing
of things
for
are
an
wrong.
incomplete abortion, if they are doing a
They'll be
DNC, they'll be
preaching.
telling you that look at what you've done to yourself.
Wow.
You know? Yeah, you just be
During
crying.
the procedure,
Yeah,
that's
so
unfortunate.
so you've not met that type of older doctor.
Wow.
I think that's what's happened. So it's personal to the person.
And I think, and you see, this is the thing about life, though, isn't it? It's about our experiences shape the way we see life.
Yeah.
Because
You have experienced
You
that.
have had this experience,
And it's not once,
and
it's
and
not
you know, but then-
twice.
But then he has had these experiences of older doctors being extremely judgmental, and then we have had sort of a mixture of different kinds of experiences. And I think that then determines how we see
Perception.
But I suppose the thing is also, once you find a doctor that you feel comfortable with,
You should
you
just
feel
stick with them.
listened to, and they seem to understand you or are able to show you empathy, then I think then definitely stick to that doctor and let that doctor continue to be the one that provides care to you for as long as is possible. So I'm going to leave the floor to Dr. Onyinye to give us a final call to action and just talk about the stigma attached to healthcare and accessing contraception in Nigeria and what we can do about it. But just before she goes, I just want to say a big thank you to all our guests today. It's been absolutely lovely having you.
It's been a
And we should
privilege.
probably do a part 2 because this has
Yeah, in UK, we're going to do this in UK.
this has been a
What
very,
is part two
it
in
has
UK?
been a very interesting and enlightening conversation for me, and I'm sure our listeners would also find it enlightening. So the floor is over to you, Dr. Onyinye.
Alright, so today we talked about contraception, the stigmas, the myth. Basically, I just want to say in summary, contraception should be available and accessible at least to the sexually active couple, male or female. Those stigmas, those barriers, many of them are not true, because if contraception is not used and used appropriately, then we'll have the sequel of unwanted pregnancies, and then that could lead to unsafe abortion because of the fact that abortion is not legal in Nigeria. So what I want to say is I think the government, there should be a call to action to the government to losing, the policies on safe abortion and contraception, make contraception available. I think the health worker should be educated and reorientated on how to offer contraceptive care without being judgmental, without making the person feel like they're lesser of themselves. There should also be follow up afterwards. So even after treating that person once and advising that person, there should be follow-up care to be sure that this person gets this and keeps or sticks to particular contraception that works for them. Basically, I would like to advise us, even as medical practitioners, laymen, when you have a colleague of yours, you have opportunity to talk with them, talk to them about contraception. If you have a girl child, talk to her, be close to her, mentor girls, because I believe that if women are empowered, then I feel that that's the only way we'll have change in the world. So basically, that's all I have to say. Thank you. It was such a pleasure being on the show today.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
It's been a slice of good.
Oh! Thank you for joining us on today's episode. Remember that this podcast in no way replaces the advice you receive from your own doctor or physician. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social media. Leave us a review on iTunes so that others can access the amazing content. And do join the club at asliceofhealth.club, where you will also be able to access the profiles of the guests we've had on today. And don't forget to be a health champion wherever you are by separating health fact from health fiction.